And good evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Ben Jones here. We're watching this line of showers and storms. It is getting closer, moving in from Alabama, heading into northwest Georgia as we speak, and prompting some warnings up north of Atlanta. You can see a severe thunderstorm warning up that way. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. There you go. Going through the Canton area, south and west of Dahlonega. Just to show you, parts of this line do have some gusty winds with it. There's also been some flood warnings back in Alabama here from just too much rain over and over in the same spots. So as it stands, it's kind of going right along with what the plan was from the models, which was a line, let me get to the bigger radar so you can see the whole thing, rolling between Birmingham and Montgomery right around this time, so we're on time. And as we zoom in, you can see that the warnings have been dropping off. If you were watching earlier this afternoon, there were, a handful at any given time of tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings back in Mississippi and Alabama. Most of those have dropped off. Flood warnings, as I said, and then that one severe thunderstorm warning north of Atlanta there. Now, the wind that we've had all day today continues to be a factor out there. All you got to do is stand outside, or maybe not even stand outside. You can hear it through the windows out there. That actually is going to be some of the gustiest wind that we see out of this whole event, is what we've been seeing today. It's the southerly winds out ahead of this system that have been howling here. Let me take you back here to, here's a look at the wind gust map right there. And the white number is kind of your sustained steady wind, and then the yellow number is going to be your wind gust. And we've seen 25, 30 easily, sometimes over 30 mile per hour wind gusts. And there's more behind it back here. So as we go on through the coming hour, it's still going to be a warm breeze, really, until that front comes in and changes things to a northwesterly breeze. The storm outlook is like this. It shows us in a level 1 still. There was a level 2 and a 3 back in Alabama and Mississippi. That's being trimmed back as the line continues to move toward the east. Notice there is no level 3 anymore. It's down to a 2, and then once it clears this area, it'll be a level 1. So again, a line that we're still expecting to weaken as it comes across. Let me show you the high-res model for this and the timelines at the top. If the high-res model is right, there's around midnight there as we go forward into 1:30, 2 o'clock. You're seeing that line still going through Thomaston, Forsyth, and then starting to move through the Macon area, probably between 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there. But also notice how it's thinning out here and starting to break up a little. So there's 3, 4 in the morning. And again, there still could be some rain even as we go 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning for, our southeastern counties, but not with the same kind of thump. Now that's the high-res model. Let's take a look at the graph model and see how that looks. This takes us, there's around, 1 in the morning. 2, 3, and again, notice how really, if you go by this graph model, it really just starts to thin out into nothing by the time we get on into our eastern half of our area. So, a severe threat, yes, a low-end severe threat. I don't want to say not a big deal. I mean, it's something to keep an eye on, but this is not a barn burner here, so it's something to watch. And really, for our area, it doesn't even get started until midnight or 1, and that's going to start in our northwestern county. So let's say you're in the Macon area, Warner Robins, area like that. It's probably going to be between like 2 and 3 in the morning before the line really gets there. And again, think of it as it's weakening down. You're still going to probably have a little shot of heavy rain, maybe a little bit of a breeze shifting from the south to the northwest, and then of course the temperature is going to start to drop too behind this. Let's see, I'm going to show you the wind map for the future. This is what I was telling you about. Notice how the winds that we've had all day today coming in out of the south, notice that these are wind gusts here, okay? So this is, 30 plus mile per hour winds. Notice on the backside of all this, it's not even as windy. The main wind, as I've said, is what we've been seeing today. And as we go through tonight, so instead of having a very calm night and all of a sudden storms come in and it gets really windy behind that front, it's more all the stuff is ahead of it here as far as the breeze that we're having now. Because as we get on through to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, those 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts are gone, and then maybe something like 20, 25 as we go through the day on Friday, and then kind of winding down. All right, so we'll go back to the radar. By the way, if anybody watches this later, I know sometimes people will pick up on these later and they'll see you know, laying in a Facebook feed or something like that. This is from about 9:15 on Thursday night, February 17th, 2022. So in case somebody watches it later and thinks it's another day, I have that happen sometimes. Let's see, questions are coming in. Kite flying weather, yep. Let's see, what about Northwest Georgia? Yeah, that's where they're getting the biggest storms right now. Extreme Northwest Georgia, the threat is already over. It's mainly kind of moving in from just south of Rome and over toward Dahlonega and then Atlanta over the next hour. Yeah, thank you all. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. This is, you know, in that time of year, we'll have this every once in a while, and hopefully there'll be ones like this where they'll just kind of come on through and not be that big of a deal. That's the hope as we go through March, April, May, being peak severe weather season. So, yeah, we're kind of getting on in there. But again, this is a low-end threat. It's not a zero threat. We're still going to be here watching it, but not expecting a ton out of this. Hey, Rebecca, don't have an anxiety attack. It's okay. This is just pretty much just a normal cold front coming through with, you know, maybe a rumble of thunder and some heavy rain. I'm really not expecting a big severe weather situation with this. We could go through this. This whole thing could come through and we never have one warning. And like tornado warnings, it's been a long time since we've seen those, and that was back Alabama, Mississippi. Sleeves up. Indeed, they are. Sounds like your mic is in your pocket. Is it? Nope. Any tornado watches, Sherry? No, no tornado watches. No watches, as a matter of fact. Charlie Bishop, what about your hometown? Yeah, the Maconga. Yeah, I think 2 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock. Maybe a shot of steady rain for a little bit, maybe a rumble. And for the most part, I think that's about it. That's a good point. You can't come on here with sleeves rolled up and say we'll be fine. Well, see, sometimes sleeves are up to get the attention of folks to say we do have a severe threat. Doesn't always mean it's hitting the fan. It just means that we're in watching it mode. We're in keeping an eye on things mode. Any hail expected? No, probably not, Jenny, with that. Erica, yeah, you'll be good for work in the morning, unless you go to work really, really early, but even then it's going to be dying off. Let me show you again if you're just joining us. This is the high-res model timing, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, Macon area 2 to 3, somewhere in there. Again, for the most part, it just looks like regular old rain. There may be a little bit of a gust, but we've already had gusty winds today, so I don't expect anything really even higher than what we're seeing now. It'll just be a change in wind direction. And there's, you know, clear of Macon, Warner Robins probably by 4 in the morning. And places like Dublin, Eastman through 5 o'clock. And then by the time we get into 6 in the morning, it's mainly McRae to Soperton, something like that. There could be a few little leftover showers behind it, but the main stuff will already be gone. Again, here's the graph model around 1 a.m. and you can really see it change. I mean, if you go back to here, or especially back earlier in the day, the way all of this looked back here, you know, it was a really thick, bright red line back here. If you just follow the intensity of that, you can see it coming down as it comes across. How will Monday be? Monday next week is I mean, it's looking like just rain, but I mean, it's iffy next week on how many days we'll see rain. It may just be kind of off and on for a few days. So I'm okay in a trailer, Oakmulgee East near Sagoda. Actually, I would say so, yeah. I think this is mainly kind of a garden variety cold front coming through. Yeah, Trina, wondered why it got dark early and the wind was blowing. Yeah, it's just before you get a front to come in, you'll get a tight pressure gradient and you'll get the winds feeding in out of the south. A lot of times it'll really kind of howl during the day leading up to it. And then the front comes through and the winds shift and that southerly breeze is gone. And then, like in this case, it's actually going to be less of a breeze after everything moves through. Okay, well, we'll get ready for the 10 o'clock show on our CW channel. I hope you have access to that. And then, of course, the 11 o'clock show, and we'll have updates on everything. But I just want to jump on and give a quick update. I mean, no watches or warnings or anything like that. And really, again, there is the possibility we could go through this whole event and never have a warning. But we'll be here to keep an eye on it anyway. Okay, thanks for your time, folks. Chatting on TV. I'll see you there.